We now know Wayne Rooney will be the next head coach for DC United. What do we think of this move?
Look, I think the Wayne Rooney saga, it started out with me saying, like, this dude too old, it's too high, he ain't never gonna make it. And then he played lights out. Obviously, that one highlight is probably, I would say, maybe the second biggest highlight of his career, besides the bicycle kick.
Okay.
Sort of standing like that, is him chasing a dude, Wayne Rooney.
Yeah.
In his 30s, chasing somebody down, gassed, and then obviously the assist to Lucho Acosta.
Will Johnson, right? That's who he was chasing down that game.
Yeah.
I believe his name is Will Johnson.
Maybe. But obviously the assist to Lucho Acosta, the shortest dude on the pitch, who jumps up for a header, scores. They drew. That wasn't winning the game, right? That was a draw.
That was a draw. I think it was late. It was late in. No, I think it was a win. It was a win. It was late in the season.
Right.
They needed a point to get a playoff spot, so it was an important game.
So the feeling around Wayne Rooney as a player was like, oh, this dude actually came out here. He's leaving it all on the pitch. He's doing his thing, and then he leaves. We have some theories. There was a school shooting. That was the reason I thought maybe.
Yeah, I thought his mom was his wife.
His wife was like, we got to get the kids out of this country. They leave pretty abruptly. Becomes a player coach at Derby. Then takes over. But also as Derby County gets put in administration, they get docked points. He sets out to stick around and try to save this team.
Right.
It kind of made me feel like, him as a person, the perception of him has now completely changed. He's completely taken this on his own shoulders. He's doing the right thing. He's kind of stepping up for this club. It was kind of beautiful to see. Look, they end up getting relegated. He decides he wants to leave. I think he did enough. And to now come back here as a player coach to say, I kind of have unfinished business. And I need to go back there and kind of...
he's not a player. He's not coming back as a player.
Sorry, he's come back as a coach.
Yeah.
Not as a player, as a coach is what I meant to say. Mm-hmm. It feels like he kind of has like a little bit of unfinished business. He's coming to sort of finalize what he set out to do here. I kind of like this move.
Look, DC needs something to kind of motivate them. From by all accounts, Wayne Rooney was beloved by his teammates. He was kind. He took care of his teammates, whether it's paying for meals, helping people out. All the stories about him were just absolutely immensely positive. So I think this is, I said this yesterday. You go from disciplinarian coach to the chill coach.
How do you think he's going to be the chill coach?
He's going to be the chill coach.
What makes you think that? Because I don't think he was that necessarily at Derby.
He seems like a more sensitive, a more just like kind.
He is the arm around the player kind of guy.
Yeah. And he, just recently retired from playing, and he's a legend, right? So I think I think it's a good move.
Do you think it'll work out in the trophy cabinet?
If with time, with maybe a couple signings, having a coach in Wayne Rooney means that you'll be able to sign players that played with him in FIFA and highly respect him. So I think he's going to have a good opportunity to bring in some big names.
Interesting. Because I'm not sure players of that ilk would trust their careers to him.
Why not?
Because I don't think he's shown enough on the sideline tactically as a manager, as a coach, as someone who picks, sort of how the team plays. I don't think he's shown enough to be like, it's not just... maybe at the end of their career, he's right here. Yeah. Okay, there's stuff's being delivered. This shows the vibes are fire in the show, bro. I don't think he's shown enough for me to be like, nah, this is the whatchamacallit. I can trust this guy with the end of my career. Maybe the end of my career, but not like, I don't think they're gonna get like that 27-year-old.
Look,
like Jesse Lingard is being rumored.
Okay, but you're saying essentially that he hasn't shown enough. He hasn't shown enough because he hasn't been a manager very long. So this is his best opportunity on a bigger stage, arguably, than being in League One with Derby.
No, yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So he'll have
he's certainly going to get paid more,
right? And there's already a track record of managers coming from Europe. doing pretty well in MLS, and moving on to a bigger opportunity back in Europe.
Using that as a springboard.
Patrick Vieira, Jesse Marsh, there was another one.
Jesse Marsh didn't come from Europe, but I get your point.
Ronnie Dyla or whatever.
Ronnie Dyla, yeah.
So I think it's getting to the point where MLS, as even from a managerial perspective, where it's not like this knock on your record.
Also, I do think we need to get to the point, and I feel like we've gotten to it, where MLS is no longer a retirement league. You're always going to have a bunch of older players that are going to come here, small handful of them, right? Especially if LAFC's got anything to say about it. You're always going to have the older players that come here to finish out their career. So you're always going to have that. But I do think we're at the point now where that necessarily doesn't really equate to the marketing opportunity you think it will. I think it's smarter to have the coaches like your Vieiras, like your Rooneys, like your Thierry Henrys that come in that were big players, start their coaching careers out here, and use that as an opportunity to bring some players in that can help guide the youth that want to, like, that played with Thierry Henry and think like, all right, the end of my career, I'll come hang out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't you agree? Like, now is the time where, like, instead of a retirement player, you should have players that were stars start their coaching careers here. I think that brings in more marketing opportunity. I think that's the smarter choice.
Maybe. But there's a lot of competition for those coaches. I mean, it's not easy to attract a coach in MLS, especially when their majority of their experience and footballing experience has been in Europe, because they deal with the same biases that a lot of fans, will post a video about saying anything about MLS.
My guy just pronounced it biases, bro. Hell yeah, dude. Get in there, bro. I like it, yo. My guy English, yo. He aluminium and shit, yo. He said biases. Let's go. Schedule. Let me check my schedule, bro. Whatchamacallit? SKC Fan TV said that's still retirement, pa. It is, but the point I'm trying to say is you don't get a player that's past it and still make him play. I'd rather see like a Pirlo instead of having played. I would have rather seen him manage or coach here.
Look, I would rather. As a fan, I don't really care who's managing. If the team plays well, then they play well. I hope if they're European, if they're American.
I'm talking about this subject in particular. Don't you think the league is at the point now where instead of looking at a Chiellini as someone who can play, like Bale is Bale, he's preparing himself for the World Cup. But like a player like Chiellini, wouldn't it be dope to see Chiellini come in and manage or coach, as opposed to play?
But that's what I'm saying. Is that
when he's over it, wouldn't you say that's doper as a league, on a league level? Think of it from a bird's eye view. Stop thinking of it as a fan. Just thinking about where the league has come from.
Right. And I would say yes, but I'll go back to the point I made. Why would he? How can an MLS team attract Chiellini to be a manager? They did it with
Thierry Henry. Went to Montreal Impact.
Okay, so it happens, but that's one example. MLS has been around several years. It's going to take time.
Patrick Vieira.
I'm saying
Sharundalo's back now, basically starting his coaching career here.
Right. So, but you're saying, would it be doper? And I'm saying
no. I'm saying as a league, wouldn't it be dope if we moved on from players like Chiellini thinking like, oh, I could go to this league and play.
Yeah,
for
but it's not.
2 years.
But the point I'm making is not MLS's decision solely to make, because they have to deal with the fact that those potential managers will see it as a step down going to MLS. They have to convince them.
I think players like Rooney coming in will start to change that perception.
Well, yes. We have to take the steps to get there.
Are we arguing while agreeing? What the hell is wrong with you?
But you're saying
you say biases once and you become a different person.
You're saying like this is we should get away from retirement.
No.
Players.
I'm saying if we look back in 5 years, it'd be dope if this was the turn where we're no longer being the retirement player league, and we're now the players that are retiring that want to be managers. No, this is a great place to start that.
I know what I would say. I would say that if a European player,
you're gonna say this is the most aggressive agreement. I don't get what's in his head, bro.
I would say that the MLS clubs might be a little too big for a European player to have his first coaching job in MLS. I think the responsibility is MLS has gotten to the point.
Bro, I'm gonna pull up Vancouver Whitecaps. I'm gonna put a hold in my face, the logo, and I want you to say that to my face, bro.
First job, would you want Pirlo to be for his first managerial job. It was Juve. It was Juve.
Then Juve. That's what I'm saying. What are we talking about? If Juve could do it,
and why
wouldn't we?
And how did that go?
How dare you, FC Dallas, to say no to Pirlo?
I think there might be some clubs that it might work with, but I think some clubs it might
Give
not.
me an example of one where it wouldn't.
It's just
obviously, look.
Thomas before said about that he would rather have an MLS Next coach or an assistant because of their familiarity with the league. I think MLS is a different type of league than happening in Europe.
There's always going to be that, right? There's always going to be the learning curve that is associated with MLS, because you can't be a coach and be like, we need 3 new center backs. This isn't working. You'd be like, yeah, that ain't happening, bro. We got a cap. I get that. But give me an example of a team that wouldn't take a big name player that's retiring tomorrow, that wanted to manage and shown the proficiency in management, kind of like a Mikel Arteta. Even at the end of his career, people were like, this guy's going to be a great manager, because he already showed the willingness to do that.
He was an assistant for years at Man City.
That doesn't matter. But his first opportunity...
You cannot say it doesn't matter.
But that's the type of player I'm still talking about. They became an assistant somewhere. Their first head coach / managerial position could be at a place like MLS. If he didn't have the relationship that he had with Arsenal, I could see him getting an opportunity at a different league that's maybe at a slightly lower level, like an MLS or like a Belgium, like what's that? Not Jolyon Lescott. What's my guy's name?
I don't know. Chris is holding something up. I can't tell.
Who's Company? Vincent Company became player manager. What, did Dybala get a team? Is that Walter Zenga? Zenga. What happened with him?
His first opportunity was New England.
Oh, his first opportunity was New England.
He was a foreign Italian player.
A foreign Italian player. He only knows Italian players, this guy. I swear to God.
You mean Chris Italia only knows Italian players?
His name is Italia. I still don't think that's real. I don't think he's giving us his government name. You never spoke to Alexis Cubano?
Kenny Sloth is saying the Sounders wouldn't. Alexis, the Sounders wouldn't do that.
Okay.
They wouldn't.
You're talking about, let's say, when Schmetz is done, right?
Right.
You're telling me they wouldn't give an opportunity to I pick a player that's on his way out that's a big name. Mohamed El-Neni?
No, I look. Would there be clubs that would take that chance? Of course there would. I'm not saying none would, but
give me an example of one that wouldn't when their current manager is done. Because Sporting Kansas City have a legacy manager or a coach.
Clubs that have a winning history, a culture built in for
give me an example.
The Sounders would be a great example.
You're telling me if Schmetzer announces he's retiring tomorrow, or at the end of the season. Tomorrow he announces retiring at the end of the season, that they wouldn't give the opportunity to a big name of the ilk of Rooney, even though this isn't even Rooney's first managerial position. He managed in the championship. They wouldn't give the opportunity to someone like a Rooney?
I think they would be on the list of candidates, but I think they would go with someone more experienced in MLS first.
Schmetzer wasn't even experienced in MLS.
What are you? He was an assistant with the Sounders
an assistant
for years.
Not as the main guy.
He was with the Sounders forever.
He wasn't the main guy. He didn't have head coaching experience.
He didn't, but he had MLS experience. That's what I'm saying.
So then what are we talking about? What if they were an assistant in Europe? You don't think they'd give him that opportunity?
They might. I'm just saying certain clubs wouldn't.
I'm not saying hang up the boots, pick up a whistle.
Right, I know you're not saying that. I'm saying certain clubs.
I think you smoke. I think you drop it.
Take the risk because they have an established culture that they probably prefer going with. If there's a club that is on a losing streak and they can't really figure things out,
the Revolution wouldn't do it. They did it. They did it, bro. Who was the man's before Bruce Arena? They did it.
It was Friedel.
Yeah.
Okay.
First managerial job after being a player in Europe.
And it didn't work out.
It didn't work out. I'm not saying it'll always work out, but they did it.
Sean said Cincinnati would do it. Cincinnati would do it.
Cincinnati would take anybody, bro. You put a wig on a bag of chips, Cincinnati would be like, we'll interview him.
Yeah, see, Kenny Sauce said, I take Preki, Gonzo, that's Pineda, I'm assuming. Traore, I don't know who that is. Andy Rose. I don't know those, but please let me know the full names. Thomas said Union wouldn't. Yeah, I think there's some clubs that would. I don't know why.
Kenny said MLS doesn't matter. Sounders matter.
I don't know why this is so shocking to you that some clubs wouldn't take this risk.
I honestly think you're way off. I think maybe
All right. Well, the next time we talk to a GM or somebody at a club, well, we can ask them these questions.
We have these high-end. Well, smoking cigars.
We had the
pipes.
Nashville GM, Mike Jacobs.
Smoking our
I'm gonna
pipes.
text Mike Jacobs this exact. I'm gonna send him this clip. I'm like, Mike, where? And he was the GM at Sporting Kansas City as well.
He's gonna say some GM shit. Like, we would give an opportunity to the best possible.
So, well, we can't, ask an expert in this field to debunk Alexis' stupid ideas.
It's ridiculous.